All right, so for the C, I'm just going to have it kind of slide in and pop up. And for that, we're actually going to try the, oops, not like that. We're actually going to try and do control minus a motion tween. Okay, so I'll show you how that works. So what we're going to do is this. I'm going to switch to this tool so that we're on the transform tool. That way we can rotate and move the pivot and things like that. The other thing I want to do is I need to convert this span. These are called spans when they extend like this. That's the span of it, and these are the keyframes. I'm going to convert this to a motion tween. So I'm going to right click, and you'll see there's basically 3 types of tweens. We're going to use the motion tween, which is kind of the newest one, and it's the one that's the most commonly used now. What you're going to notice is, oh, I already did it. Okay. Sometimes it'll be blue, but if you just click off and click back, you'll see it'll turn gold. And that just means that that is now keyframeable. Okay. So instead of making new drawings like we did every time, what we're going to do is we're going to set key positions. We're going to key the properties of it. One of the things I want to do before I actually start animating this, I'm going to take the pivot and I'm just going to make it at the bottom of this. Okay. And the reason for that is that way, let's say I want to go like this. See how now it goes from there? If I did it from, or let's say I want to squash and stretch, right? It's going to squash and stretch from that pivot point. If it's in the center, it's going to do it from the center. That way it'll feel more and like this, right? It'll shift around. So I like to put this on the bottom. That way it feels more grounded whenever I do any kind of motion with it. All right, so this is where I want it to end up. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here by clicking on this into the timeline. And I just want to make sure I'm at 1 second. Okay, and I'm just going to click right here, and I'm going to hit F6, or you could just right-click, right-click and do Insert Keyframe. And then you can say all or just one of the options here. So we'll go ahead and we'll just keyframe the all of it, actually. Yeah, that's fine. Get out of here. We'll just keyframe all of it, all right? Because I want that to be where it ends up. And then the starting position should actually be off screen. So I'm going to put that over here. Now what you're going to see is it's going to key across. Okay, so you can see it goes from point A to point B. And that's how it works. Now, what's different about this one is that you can see the path here on this, right? So if I click on the regular select tool, I can, just like when we have shapes, I can actually pull this path, and then that will become its new motion. And you'll see now it's going to follow that path. And this is why, and this is kind of the strength of the motion tween, is that you can kind of control the way in which it moves. But what you will notice too is that you don't have as much control over the actual transitions, if you will. Okay. So another thing you can do that I want to show you is this. If I go to rotate this, so let's say I go here and I want to rotate it a full 360 as it gets over to here. Okay. We'll go like that. Okay. Watch this. Didn't rotate. So it doesn't really read it. So if you did want to do a rotate, what you're going to have to do is click on the key here and you'll see rotate. And then you can choose clockwise. And then right now it's doing 1 full rotation, but you can also just choose the certain amount. And now you're going to see it's going to rotate. It's not even a full rotation. Why does it say count 1? It's like 90 degrees at most. But I don't want that anyway. But that's how you would rotate it. Oh, because it's going to the end. I didn't put a keyframe on the end. All right, whatever. So let's go here and because it's doing it. Well, this is across the entirety of its span. That's why. So we'll turn this back off. I don't want any rotation anyway. But just so you could see, if you did need to rotate, that's what you would end up having to do. All right. I am going to go ahead and on this, we're going to do some easing. So let's ease in. So hopefully it will. Oops. Problem is it does it to the end. Let me see what that looks like. All right. Let's click back on the span here. Let's just zero that out because that's easing out. That way we get more motion. Okay, so what we're going to do is this. I'm going to, I like this right here, but I want it to kind of go whoop and back down. So what we're going to do is we're going to overshoot it. So I'm actually going to have this happen. I'm going to have it go over here. All right, and maybe up a little bit. And I'm going to push this up and squeeze a little. And then right here, I'm going to push it down and go wide a little. So that way it will squash and then stretch and then settle. But I'm going to have it in a frame in between actually go a little bit down and a little bit wide. So it's going to go boom, boom. And then I don't really like the stopping spot. I'm not sure why that got shifted so much. All right, boom. And so now if we hit enter, it'll kind of go wonk like that. Okay. And why don't we set a slight rotation here? So when I do a slight rotation, it will work. It's only if you're trying to do a full 360 does it not see it. So we're going to go like this. And then I'm going to have the stretch here actually be rotated back a little bit like that. And then we just want to make sure we're back to snappity snap. Come on. Unfortunately, it's snapping. So I'm going to go to view. We're going to go snapping. And I'm going to turn off all of it. There we go. That way I can manually do this without having that stupid snap. Okay. So now if we hit enter, you'll see, whoop, okay. And that's sort of the power of it. So more or less what it'll allow me to do is I can set these positions, and then I can actually adjust it. I gotta go to the regular select tool here and move those around. You can also actually grab the keys themselves. So if you look at here, I can grab this and change the starting position to up here. And then that will be the new position of it. So you can actually grab the keys themselves and move them around using the motion tween. Okay. The differences with this one, because you're going to get kind of confused when we get to the other one, is that you will see that the keyframes here are kind of locked to the layer itself. I can't switch out this symbol. It's just this is what it's going to be on this one. When we do the motion tween, we can actually change, or the classic tween, we can actually change what we have. Okay. But hopefully that gives you a rough idea of the keyframes. Let me move you back a little bit here too. There we go. It will auto record your keys as you move. Okay, so we'll say that's one, and that's kind of a basic motion tween. All right. The next one we'll do is the